Hi everyone, welcome to my channel that is it Learn AWS with Neeraj. So last week we started with this 1 week training program and we talked about few AWS services. As per today's class plan, we will be talking about Python, which is a programming language and which is very common nowadays. So whether you are working on AWS Cloud or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure, or there can be many other application, Python is very common programming language nowadays. Okay. So before we start, let me quickly check on the chat if you guys can hear me properly, and then we will be starting with today's class. Okay, so friends, I would request someone please confirm me over the chat if you can hear me properly so that we can start with today's class. In the meantime, I will start a small poll where we will ask like, do you have any doubt from the last week? Can someone please confirm over the chat if you can hear me? So once you will confirm, after that, that only we will be starting with today's class. Okay, if there is no one in the live meeting, then we can close the call. Okay, I would ask again, can you please confirm me over the chat if you can hear me? Someone please respond on the chat so that I can start the class. Okay, Babu is saying that volume is very low. Uh, Volume, I think you can change from your side. I don't have any option to lower or higher the volume. Maybe You can try increasing the volume from your side. I can see there are four viewers. I would request anyone else to confirm if you can hear me properly and if you can see the screen. Okay, I think we can get started now. So I am going back to my AWS console and I will be logging into my AWS trial account. So as you know, I have enabled MFA, that is multi-factor authentication, for my trial account. So I will be opening my Google Authenticator app and I will be entering the code 686960. Okay, so today's class is about Python, but where exactly we will write our Python code and where we will run our Python code. There are many ways to do it. You can even install Python on your local system, on your personal laptop. Okay, but the easy and convenient way is AWS provides one service which is specially designed for development purpose, and there you can very easily create your Python project. You can write your Python code and you can even test your Python code over there. Okay, from the chat, many people are saying that the volume is very low. Okay, volume is very low. How? Am I audible now? Okay, what about now? Does it make any difference? Okay, good. Thanks for letting me know so that I can change the settings whenever required. So I hope now you guys can hear me properly. I am coming back to my AWS account and I will search for Cloud9 service. So if you remember the very first class when we talked about platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service, right? Someone asked me like, what is the example of platform as a service? So Cloud9 is an example of platform as a service because AWS will provide you one platform where you can write your code, where you can test your code. And the good part is it comes with pre-installed softwares like Java is there, Python is there, Node.js is there, Git is there. Few things will be pre-installed, the most common one. And on top of that, if you need anything else, you can install at any point of time. Okay, so you can see this message Cloud9, and it is say that a cloud IDE stand for integrated development environment for writing, running and debugging the code. And the good part is it is free of cost available. Okay, so what we will do is we will be clicking on Cloud9. I will click on this. There will be no Cloud9 instance as of now, but we can create one. Okay, so I will click on create environment and now I will give some name. So I can give C9 hyphen Neeraj. Okay, you can give any name, it's up to you. Description is Cloud9 environment for my learning purpose. Okay, it's optional. If you want to skip, you can do that. And after that, environment type new EC2 instance or existing compute. So behind Cloud9 instance, Cloud9 environment, basically there is a EC2 instance. So either you can use an existing EC2 instance, or if you want, you can create a new EC2 instance. So we'll go with new EC2 instance. And if you come down, you will find many more options are there. And the very first one, T2.micro, that comes with 1 GB of RAM and 1 CPU. And you can see that free tier eligible. That means if you are launching this instance, it's free of cost. If you are going with anything else, that is T3.small, M5.large, or you are going with any additional instance type, that can be chargeable to you. Okay, so what we will do is We'll go with the first one, and that is more than sufficient for our learning program. Don't think that it's not good. It's more than sufficient for us. Okay, so what we will do is come down. Platform is Amazon Linux 2. That's good. Timeout, that's a very good setting. It will save our like additional uses. In case your cloud9 environment is, you can say, inactive for more than 30 minutes, it will automatically stop your instance. Only stop, it will not delete your instance. That means if you are writing any Python code and if you have saved that code, and if you are coming next day, whenever you will start your cloud9 instance again, you will find your code there as it is. That's a good thing, right? So I'm coming down, and you can go with the default options, and finally we'll click on create. That's all. Nothing to, I mean, there is not nothing complicated. Just have to provide some name and just choose the instance type. Always go with the free tier one, and it should be ready in few minutes. Because behind the scene, it will be launching EC2 instance. You can see here, you can see this message. It is saying creating C9 nearest. This can take several minutes. So let it launch. And once my Cloud9 environment is ready, what it is saying, the development environment Cloud9 failed to create because the instance type T2.micro is not available in the requested availability zone. Try recreating your environment and choose an instance type that is supported by AZ. Really? Okay. Let's try one more time. I never faced this issue while creating Cloud9 for my office work, but let me check it out. We'll give another name. Nearest. Description is not required. So VPC setting, right? It was saying that availability zone we can choose accordingly. So AP South 1C. Let's choose this. I'm not sure whether it will work or not, but let's try. Otherwise, if it will not work right, what we will do is, let me change it right away. We'll choose US region, because for my office purpose, I always choose US region, and in that case, you should not face any issue. Okay. So what we will do is, we will create our Cloud9 instance in our US region. So C9 hyphen nearest. Okay, coming to VPC setting and US East 1A. That should be good. Click on create. Okay. Hopefully we should not get any error this point of time. And within next few minutes, our Cloud9 environment should be ready. So let's wait for it. I can click on open, so that if everything is ready, then my Cloud9 environment will be opening, and then we should be ready to start. Okay. In the meantime, because it will take some time, it will take few minutes. In the meantime, if you are having any doubt till now, you can ask me. Okay, seems like my Cloud9 environment is ready, as you can see here. So you can see in the left side, there are all the files and the folders. As of now, you can see that there is no much file, no much folder, because we have just launched our Cloud9 environment. But we can write our own Python code. Don't worry about it. We'll be writing shortly. You can close this window. This is a welcome page. You can close this. And now you can see that there are three main windows. The left side is mainly your, you can say, file explorer. Okay. And on the right side, upper part, that is your editor, where you can write your Python code or any other language code as well, not only Python. And the right lower window is a terminal window, from where you can execute your commands and if the command is generating some output that will be visible on the right lower window. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's create some folder here, and then we will be starting with our stuff. So I will click on new folder. Okay, and I would say Python. Okay, under Python directory I will create some file. So I can right click and I will click new file, and any name you can give. I would give sample code.py. Every Python file should end with .py extension. That's a that indicates that it's a Python file. Okay, and now we'll press enter, and you can double click on this so that this file will be opening in the right upper window. That's a text editor. Okay, now you may be or may not be aware about Python concept. So before I start, right, let me quickly conduct a small you can say a poll so that I will get some idea. Okay, I am starting a poll in the YouTube chat. Please respond to that. Okay, friends, I just started a poll in the chat. That will give me the idea like, shall I explain from very beginning or you are aware little bit about Python? Accordingly, I will explain. So I can see that 75% of people says that they know little bit about Python, and 25% people are saying that don't know anything about Python. So ultimately, we'll be starting with basics. I hope you are aware about. I mean, not only Python, any other programming language, there will be similar concepts. Like there is a, you can say method. There are variables and how to pass parameter to the functions. So we'll talk about all these things, and tomorrow's class will be advanced class about Python. Today we are talking only about basics of Python, but tomorrow's class is about PySpark. That means Spark is a data processing tool, and data can be processed using multiple languages. You can use Java, you can use Python, you can even use Scala, but we will be going with Python. So when you are using the Spark framework with Python, in short, that is known as PySpark. So tomorrow's class will be completely about PySpark. Okay. So let me end the poll and let me come back so that we can start. So what we will do is, to get started, I will write very simple line print statement. I would say print, and we can write any message. Maybe welcome to Python. I think the same type of things we did when we executed our first Lambda function. And the Lambda function was nothing but a Python code which can be executed on a serverless environment. Okay. So now how to run this? First of all, we'll check what is my present working directory. So my present working directory is slash home slash ec2 user slash environment. Inside that, we created one directory, or you can say folder, with the name Python. So let's go inside that. CD stand for change directory. CD Python. That means I'm entering into Python directory. And now I will do ls-ltr. That should display the files available inside this directory. So you can see here sample underscore code.py, that file is available. It's time to run this file. So you will type Python, which is pre-installed. You don't need to worry about how to install Python on Cloud9. That comes with pre-installed with Python. Okay. So Python and then your file name sample underscore code.py and press enter, and you will see the output here. Welcome to Python. Okay, this way you can easily print anything, print any hard coded message, or even you can print some variable. So let's do one thing, let's take some variable. I will take name is equal to Neeraj, okay, and I would say age is equal to 32. Okay, I have declared two variables. If you have talked, if you have worked on any other programming language, maybe C or C++ or Java, you must have noticed one thing, that whenever we declare the variable, we need to declare the data type also. Like whether this variable is an integer, or it's a boolean, or it's a double, or it's a string, or there can be many more data type. But Python is smart enough that you only provide the value, and from the value it will auto detect the data type. In this case, name is equal to Neeraj, that's in single quotes, that means it's a string, and age is equal to 32 without single quotes, that's a numeric number. So the data type of age is integer. If you want to display this, you can use print statement, print, and then you display, suppose, name. Okay, control S, and will execute our code, and you can see that it is displaying Neeraj. But suppose you want to display age, will that work? Let's try. I will do control C and I will do control V, age, right? And I will save the file and will try to run this. And you can see that it is displaying name and age both. But if you will try to display both things together, that may create some problem. Let me show you that. So I will display name, okay, and after that I will display some hard coded value, maybe I would say colon, okay, and then I will display age. Okay, let's try if this will work fine. If it will not work, then I will explain like what is the problem. And you can see now it is failing. It is saying that can only concatenate string, not integer. That means when you are combining multiple things together in a single print statement, it will not take different type of data type. In this case, the data type of name is string and the data type of age is integer. It's unable to concatenate that. It's unable to, you can say, join that. So what you will do is, there's a option to change your integer into string. So you put str in the bracket. That means you are converting the age into string. It will not make any difference on the display, because it will still display 3 2 only. Okay, but ultimately the data type is converted from uh, integer integer to string. Okay, so you will type Python and your program name, and you can see that it's displaying perfectly fine name and age. So you have to make sure that whenever you are using different type of variables, you have to use str, otherwise you can face the errors like this. Okay, this is very common error when the people start working on Python. This is very common error, and that's why I am explaining about this error. Okay, so we have talked only about two things. One is print statement and how to use variables. Okay, now let's talk about functions. I'm going a little faster today because these are very basic stuff like displaying a variable, not a big deal, right? Maybe tomorrow we'll explain in much slower speed and in much more detail, as we will be talking about PySpark concepts. We'll be loading one file and we'll be exploring, we'll be analyzing that file. We'll execute few queries, few Python commands on top of that file so that we can get some useful insights from the file. Okay, so let's create a function. So how to declare a function? Def, then function name, suppose display message. Okay, display message, semicolon, enter, and I will print some message. I would say hello. Okay, so when you say def, the function name, This is only defining a function. It's not calling. Until or unless you are not calling the function, it will not execute. Okay. So now what I will do is I will call this function. So when we are calling the function, we don't put semicolon at the end. We will simply say display message like this. So you notice that def is only for defining, and the semicolon is required when you are defining the function, when you are providing the function definition. Okay. Now I will save this file and I will run this file, and you will see that hello is printed. This is non-parameterized function. That means it is not taking any parameter. That means anytime you will call it, it will simply display the same message hello. You call it 5 times, you call it 10 times, it will display only hello. But you can parameterize it. Most of the time you will deal with parameterized function. That means you will pass some input, and depending upon that input, it will behave. So let me make some changes. Suppose I will pass name here. Okay. And here we will display hello, and then whatever name you will pass. Okay. This time it's dynamic behavior because it will change the print line depending upon the input you will pass. So if I'm calling display message and I will pass, suppose Neeraj, okay, then let's see what it will say. It will say hello Neeraj. You can see that because I passed the Neeraj as the name. Okay, let's try to call this function with a different name. So suppose I will call like with different name Nisha. Okay, and now we will run it. Let me clear my screen, it's full, and we'll run this, and you can see that hello Neeraj, hello Nisha. So depending upon the input you are providing, it will display the message. And not only one parameter, you can even pass many parameters, 2 parameter, 5 parameter, 10 parameters. You can pass those parameters, and based upon those parameters, it will do your business logic. It's not always about printing some message. There can be some business logic, there can be some connecting to database, reading some data, or writing some data into the database, or reading some details, username, password from secret manager, or you can even publish some message to SNS topic. In the last class, we talked about SNS topic, right? So Python can do anything. Python can interact with any AWS service, and you can perform anything provided you have the required permissions, right? If you remember, I told you that anything you do in AWS, that is controlled by AWS permissions. So if you have permission on any service, you can perform that activity using Python. Okay. So I will show you one more thing. Suppose you want to parameterize the function, but you want to make that parameter as optional. That means you are expecting that people may or may not provide the value for that. That means sometime it may be possible that the user who is calling the function, he or she will not provide the parameter. That's also possible. In that case, you can define some default name. Okay. So I would say anything. I can provide AWS. Okay, that's not a good name, but I'm providing AWS. That means if you are passing a name, it will display hello that name. Like I'm passing display message Neeraj, so it's displaying hello Neeraj. I'm passing display message Nisha, it's saying hello Nisha. Now let's call this function, but without any parameter. That means I forgot to provide the parameter, or you can say I explicitly did not pass any parameter. Okay, in that case, what it will do, it will say hello AWS. Let's try that. You can see this. It is useful when suppose let's take an example. You are passing 3 parameters: principal amount, duration, and rate of interest. You are expecting that the end user, they should provide principal amount, duration, and rate of interest. And in the function definition, you will calculate the interest amount, right? Now you are giving one additional facility to your end user, that they can skip the rate of interest. In case they are not aware, then they can only provide the principal amount, and the duration, they don't need to provide the rate of interest. In that case, you can define some default rate of interest, and that will be used only if user is not providing. If user is providing, then you have to use only the user provided rate of interest. Okay, so this way you can create non-parameterized function or parameterized function or parameterized function with some default value. You can do that. So before we proceed, I will conduct a quick poll. Like, do you have any doubt till now? And then we will be moving ahead. So I would request everyone to please respond to the poll so that I have the full clarity. And after that, we'll be moving ahead with more concept about Python. So out of 5 vote, only 1 vote is saying that yes, there is some doubt. So I would request, please type your doubt in the chat so that I can answer that. Okay, so feel free to type your question in the chat window. As and when some question comes in your mind, please immediately post that message in the chat. And in between, I keep on checking my chat so that I can pick your questions and I can answer that. Okay, so there is a question from Babu. He's asking that if we close the Cloud9 application, then where exactly the code will be saved? So as we launched and I explained you, behind the Cloud9 this environment, there is a EC2 instance. And EC2 instance is having some hard disk, RAM, everything is there, right? So basically, the code which we are writing here, writing on Cloud9, that will be saved on your EC2 instance hard disk. And tomorrow, when you will launch your Cloud9 instance again, your code will be again visible. Code will be again available for you. Does that answer your question, Babu? Okay, that's good. So I'm coming back to Cloud9 and we'll do something else. Let's try doing some for loop. Okay, so we can do for range, suppose for I in range 5. Okay, print I. So I will comment these 3 lines. Those are not required now. I will comment this. You can put hash in the beginning of any line and that will be commented in Python. Okay. This hash is only applicable for Python, not for all the languages. So we'll run it and it's going good. You can see that. If you want to repeat something multiple times, suppose you want to display some message 10 times. So either you need 10 print statement or you will be calling 10 functions, right? Both are not required. You can use a for loop. For I, in I is a variable. You can take anything. Don't think that you need to take I only. You can take A also. In programming language, usually we take I. I don't know why, but you can take anything. You can take A also, and that will also work in a similar way. Okay. So what I'm doing is for A in range 5. Any programming language, it always starts, the counting starts with 0. And then the last one 5, right, that is excluded. So basically it will not go 1 2 3 4 5, rather it will go 0 1 2 3 4. And that's why you can see here it is displaying 0 1 2 3 4. If you want to append something else, let's do one thing. We'll display hello. Okay, and since a is a numeric value, I will convert into string, otherwise it will throw error. Okay, so what it will display this time, you can see that hello 0, hello 1, hello 2, hello 3, hello 4. Let's try one more thing. Let's convert this a into a multiplied by 2. Star in any programming language indicates multiplication. So what I want is a multiplied by 2. So first time it will display hello 0, then hello 2, hello 4, hello 6, hello 10, hello 8. Let me show you. I will save my code and I will run this. And you can see that it is saying hello 0, hello 2, 4, 6, 8. So it all depends upon your logic. Whatever logic you want to use, that you can do in the for loop. Okay. So now I will show you how to use an array. Array is nothing but a collection of similar data type. For example, I would say names is equal to, in the square bracket, put some names. I would say Neeraj. I will pick few names from the chat. Nisha. I will take Babu. And do we have any more name? Ritesh. Ritesh. Okay. I am taking four names. So this way you can declare an array. Array is a collection of similar data type. You cannot mix them. You cannot take like one is string, another one is integer, third one is boolean. That's not, cannot do that. But yes, you can create one more array. Suppose age is equal to, for these four members, I will take age 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, you can take like this. So I have two arrays. One array is names, another array is ages. Okay, and now if you want to iterate over these array, there are two ways. Either you can use a for loop, or you can directly iterate over the array also without for loop also. Okay, so let me show you. Let's do one thing. We'll say, let me copy this. Okay, and I in range 5, or instead of 5, right, you can say length of names, because 5 is hard coded. We don't know how many items are there. There can be 5, there can be 50. So I'm saying that the range is starting from 0 till the length of this array. And what I will display, I will display names I. Okay, and then I will display like semicolon, and then I will do ages I. Okay, and let's run this. I is not defined. Okay, my bad. That should be A, not I. A. Okay, and let's run this code. It's displaying perfectly fine. Why it's displaying? Okay, it's coming from this line. I will comment this line. Okay, okay, perfectly. You can see that Neeraj 23, Nisha 24, Babu 25, Ritesh 26. What I'm doing is using a for loop, I'm iterating over both the arrays. So when you type your array name, suppose names, and in the square bracket you pass the index. Index means the location. 0 means first location. 1 means second location. So when the a value is 0, it will pick name Neeraj, and age it will pick 23. Second time it will pick Nisha, and then third time it will pick Babu, and fourth time it will pick Ritesh, and accordingly it will pick the date also. And that's why you can see here Neeraj, Nisha, Babu, Ritesh, and along with their age are displayed. This way you can deal with array. Okay, there are many more functions with array which you can use. Suppose you want to sort the names. So what you can do is, let me do one thing. First of all, we will comment this because we have already done this part, right? So I will do print names. Okay, so it will display all the names. You can see that Neeraj, Nisha, Babu, Ritesh in the same order which we have declared. But suppose you want to sort them. So there is a function array name dot sorted. I think it should be sorted only. Any mistake? I think there is some mistake. So what you can do is you can type control and space and it should display. We have count, we have index, we have insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort. Okay, not sorted, it's sort. And that's all. Let's see. Will it make some difference? What happened? Okay, give me a moment. I will tell you what happened. So basically, when you are sorting it, you have to assign to some variable, or you can use same variable. Names is equal to names dot sort. Okay, and here I will do names. It this time it should display sorted names. You can see that Babu is coming as a first name. After that, Neeraj, then Nisha, and last is Ritesh. This time it's coming in sorted order. Okay, and if you want to do reverse of that, we can do reverse also. Instead of sort, I will do reverse. Okay, and let's see. You can see that the original order, right? The original is Neeraj, Nisha, Babu, Ritesh. This has been reversed. So Ritesh, Babu, Nisha, Neeraj. And there are many more functions. You can even append one array with another array. You can remove some item from it. You can delete it. You can say sort it, reverse it, and there can be many more functions available, which you can play with as per your requirement. Suppose you have an array of marks for the entire class. There are suppose 50 students, and you want to sort those numbers. Very easy, right? You put those numbers in an array, and you simply do marks dot sort. It will sort your numbers. So this way you can create array in Python. Let me tell you about one more data type, that is dictionary. Dictionary is basically key value pair. Let me show you. I would say student details, okay, is equal to curly bracket. That's the difference between an array and you can say dictionary. Dictionary is curly brackets. So you will provide some key, maybe student ID. I would say student underscore 001. Okay, and then colon, and then the detail about that student, maybe name, so Neeraj, comma, next student ID. So I would say student underscore 002, and then ID, name, right? Suppose Nisha. Okay. So I have added two student detail in the dictionary. So when you are retrieving any detail from the array, you will pass index 0, 1, 2, 3, and at that location, whatever value is there, that will be returned back. But dictionary is different. It is not index based. It is key value pair based. That means you will pass the key, and this dictionary will provide you the value corresponding to it. For example, if I will display, I would say print, and I would say student details. Okay, and in the square bracket you pass the student ID. So suppose I will pass student 001. So I will pass that. Okay, in the double quotes. So what I'm doing is I'm passing the student ID, and I'm looking for the detail associated with that student ID. And now if I will run this, uh, if I will run this, it will display my name Neeraj. Invalid syntax. What is missing? Okay, square bracket is missing. My bad. Square bracket is missing. Okay. So we will run this again, and this is displaying my name Neeraj. This way you can retrieve the detail from the dictionary. It's very small example. Usually dictionary are very complex. You can have further and further details also. That means the value can itself be an dictionary. Okay, let me show you. So student uh, 001, after that another You can say dictionary will start, and I would say name is equal to Neeraj. Okay, and age is 32, like this. Okay. Now, did you notice one thing? The key is student 001, and the value is nothing but again a dictionary. It's a nested dictionary. So value is this small dictionary where name and age details are given. So if you want to retrieve that, you have to provide one more key. For example, I would say student detail 001 and then one more square bracket, and suppose I will pass age because I just want age of that student. Okay. And now I will run it, and you can see that it is saying 32. And if I don't pass age, I simply say student 001, it will display entire uh, internal dictionary. You can see that corresponding to student 001, we have these details: name is Neeraj and age is 32. So you can go deeper and deeper, and there can be multi level dictionary as well. That's very useful to deal with complex data. Okay, so that's all for dictionary, and I think with this one we are even done with today's class. So today's class was about basics of Python. I hope you understood how to launch your Cloud9 environment. On top of that, you can create your Python code. We have used print statement, for loop, and for loop can be of different type. One is range based. Sometimes you are not aware about the range. You don't know how many elements can be there. So you can directly use a for loop on the array or dictionary. Let me show you on array. So you will say for name in names. Okay. This first variable name, you can use anything, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, anything. I am using name in names. Okay. And then semicolon and enter. That means this for loop will repeat as many times as there are items in your names array. There can be 4, there can be 40, there can be 400. So I don't need to specify the name. So if you will do print and you display the whatever is the name, right? Name. That's all. And let's run it. You can see that Ritesh, Babu, Nisha, Neeraj. And tomorrow, if I will make any change in the array, I don't have to make any change in my for loop. So let me do one thing. I will add few more name in my array. Okay. So I will add more names here. I would say ABC and XYZ. Okay. So basically, I added a few more elements for more items in my array, but I will not make any change in my for loop because this for loop will run as many times as there are items. This time there are 6 items, so it will run 6 times. So let's run it, and you can see now it's displaying like this. Okay. So this is all about the basics of Python. In case you are having any doubt in today's class, you can ask me. Otherwise, we are done with today's class. So there is a doubt from Ritesh. He's asking that main method, do we need a main method in the Python or not? So that's not required. I understand from where you are coming. You are comparing with C, C++, Java, because we need a mandatory main function, then only your function will start. But Python is not like that. You can start typing every single line print statement. You don't need to declare any class, any function name, nothing. Direct one print statement can also be executed. So it's more easier to learn as compared to Java or any other programming language. Okay, so let me conduct a small poll quickly. I will ask any doubt from today's class. Okay, friends, please vote quickly on the poll, and then we should be good to close the call for today. Okay, guys, thanks for joining. See you guys tomorrow in the next class. That would be about PySpark.